Who do you see in this picture?
Again, on the right, I see somebody who looks like my mother.
And on the left, who do you see?
I say the glasses are a little disorienting, but it does look like Miss Margaret Chan.
It does look like Miss Margaret Chan.
Yes.
She's smiling the same way she's smiling in this photograph, correct? You can just look at her. She's there.
I've said it does look like her.
Okay.
And the one on the right
Does this look like where the burial took place?
I can't tell.
You can't
You can
tell.
hardly see what the background is.
Do you remember what your mom was wearing?
No.
Okay. Does this look like home?
There's not enough background for me to answer that question.
Do you see a house behind this?
I do.
You see a house. And there's some greenery, there's some fence behind, correct?
Looks like yes.
Looks like it. Does your mother's home look like this?
No.
It is indeed a great day, and a great day indeed. I always source for the best and the best. I'm really, really lucky to have amongst those who scored the best in this part of the world. And today they are representing senior personalities in court. They're cross-examining those that you don't expect them to. I have Martina Swigga. What a guest, what a great guest. And therefore, I believe it's going to be a blissful and a great conversation. Martina Swigga, this is your home.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. RIBA SASA is a place to be.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Such an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we just start, just walk us through. Who is Martina Swigga?
Well, I think I'm a lot of things. I evolve as time goes by.
Yes.
Right now, and rather for the past 6 years, I've been an advocate, practicing as an advocate in Kenya. I think before that, the time for campus, and just when I began practicing, I was, and I still am, a musician. I used to sing.
Sure.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Sure.
Hey, I need to get some of your bangers.
Go on the internet, I love beats.
Yeah, sure.
So I did that for a bit, but generally, I'm just a gun with Jim speak.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
And
but I
you-
also, I also find joy in the mundane and just life and family. That's a big part of who I am.
Yeah. I'm really, really happy to have you in our show today. And as we just starting, just walk us through the presumption of law.
Yeah, presumption of the law. It's actually a concept, a legal concept, as I said. We presume that everyone is mentally sound until the contrary is proven. And so there's that which exists. There's that presumption that exists to the law. And then there are the things that cannot, or the law does not offer the presumption in itself. For instance, you cannot presume that a child is capable of committing a crime. Yeah, you cannot presume or assume that. Yeah, because criminal culpability for children is at the age of 12. So any child below the age of 12, they are protected by the law with the presumption that they're not capable of committing a crime. Yeah. Yes. So that's how presumption exists in the law. It's not just something you say. Then there are some presumptions that don't apply. I think I've done a video on my socials about this topic. I think on a channel called Kote, which is usually a legal channel.
Oh, but that's for dance and Omar.
Where he featured.
Yes, I've seen you guys who were even in course together.
Yeah, that's we practice law together. Yeah. So like the presumption of marriage, that used to exist, but there was a new law that insisted that presumption of marriage is no longer applicable in most cases.
The cognizant that is not too big.
Yes, you just can't presume because you're living with someone, you have children, the society perceives you as married, that there's a presumption of marriage. Nowadays, the standard of the law is that all marriages ought to be registered through a marriage.
So,
yeah.
in this research, there's another statement that is mentioned that the minimis non curat lex, that is also fall in that category of presumption of the law. that the least think that the law knows not cure. As in presumption, as in is it the same thing? But,
What do you understand by that Latin phrase?
I understand it that there are certain things that the judicial process cannot offer relief. As in, that's how I understand.
Yeah, they definitely, not everything is determined by a judicial decision. And nowadays, like in Kenya, the system is really moving towards alternative dispute resolutions where people are encouraged to settle disputes out of court. So it's not necessarily settled by way of a judicial officer determining, or a court of law determining a dispute, unless the parties are not open to have alternative dispute resolution such as mediation, arbitration, and all that. And they insist to have their matters argued out in court. The law also provides for that.
Okay. Now, in the law, we have criminal law, we have civil law. I just want you to walk us through criminal law first, reporter, and the experiences that you've had in this department.
Okay, I am actually known to be doing a lot of criminal law. That is an area that I love to practice. I think for me, it's just the how the story unfolds, the adrenaline. That's just my personal experience, and so I actually enjoy criminal law as opposed to civil law, but I practice all of them all the same.
Okay.
So, what exactly about criminal law? Like the process?
Yes, maybe you can just walk us through the process and yes.
Okay, so for criminal law, you're either an accused or a complainant or a victim. Complainant and victims are more or less the same.
Complete the plaintiff.
No. In a criminal law, it's the state versus XYZ, like the republic versus so and so. It's usually the government that prosecutes crime through a public prosecutor who's still an advocate, but they're employed by the government. Yeah, so those are the DPPs in Kenya. And then now the accused has a right to have the advocate of their choice to represent them. So it's never A versus B. It's always state versus someone.
Yes,
Or the republic. Yeah.
In that, let me just ask, for example, let's say, for example, if my loved one has been killed, and now you see this accused person, that's a criminal offense, right?
Yeah, that's a criminal offense, and they're going to be case. They're prosecuted by the state. So in that instance, you become a complainant or a victim, and you're also allowed by the law to have your advocate to check how the prosecutor is doing their job. Because the prosecutor, the state now, prosecutor, state government is all the same in the criminal law. Because they are the ones who prosecute criminal matters. You as a complainant or a victim can have an advocate watching to see, are they following the procedures of the law? Is anything being compromised? Are you getting the justice that you deserved? Such kind.
So it cannot be like MARTINA SWIGA and the state versus what?
No, unless the state has refused to prosecute, then there's the option of private prosecution. But even that is a long shot. The Constitution gives the Director of Public Prosecutions, the EPP, or rather the state prosecutors, a lot of room, because they're the ones who decide who is to be charged. They're the ones who decide if a case can be discontinued or not, and such like.
Oh, okay. So if in the event that maybe there is such a form of and one day the delay is that you can just proceed to private prosecution.
Yes, you make an application to court, then the DPP comes and explain why it is they are not prosecuting the matter, and then you may be allowed to do private prosecution.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the ODPP, the Office in the Directorate of Public Prosecution, is part of the executive.
No, it's supposed to be an independent. Yeah, it's supposed to be independent of the investigators. The investigators are now the police, the National Police Service, the DCI, the ESCC. All of those people are investigators, including KRA. But the DPP, as per Article 157 of our Constitution, it states that they have the powers to institute proceedings against any person. and then they do not require any permission from AHD to either institute or have a matter in court. But at the point of discontinuing a trial, which is before a court of law, they must apply to the court to try and see if they can cease to continue the execution of the matter.
Like no, let's say for example, this RCP case, that is fall under criminal cases.
Which case?
The SDR.
Sorry, I can't get you.
There's the SDR case whereby there's a lady who was with the ex-boyfriend, I think. There was
Yeah.
also rhetorical.
Yeah, that's criminal. That's definitely falls under criminal. But you see, criminal and civil can coexist.
Oh, both of them can coexist.
They can coexist. For instance,
Yes.
we have for example, you know each other, yes?
Yes.
And then I come and tell you, I have this business opportunity, but I don't have money to do the business opportunity. And I know you have money. So I tell you, why don't you afford me or give me 500,000 or any amount, then we set up the business. So you trust me, and then I give me the money, and you expect definitely the business to come through. And then after a while, you realize there's no business forthcoming. So I obtain that money under a false pretense of giving you a business. So that itself is fraudulent, and it's a charge under the penal code, like it's a criminal offense.
Yes.
So even if I go to court as an accused person, the court will either decide, am I guilty or not guilty? So what happens to that 500?
Yes, you might not get your 500k.
The court
back.
is not going to give you the 500k, and even if I'm fined,
Yes.
that fine goes to the
Government,
as
yeah,
tax.
sure.
Yeah. So then you are supposed to go to a civil court to try and get the damages of 500 plus interest and whatever. Yes. And they can coexist at the same time. You don't have to wait for the criminal matter to be decided so that you can do a civil
Then both of them
matter.
can be decided.
They can go the same time, not the same court. The courts are different. The criminal court sits specifically for criminal matters. The civil court sits specifically for civil matters.
Okay, so the judge cannot, that bench cannot sit and say that, yes, on this criminal matter we charge you guilty,
No.
but on this other matter we find you liable.
No. So you have two cases going on in two different courts. Yeah. So as long as you can prove that you gain with that 500. That's why I always insist, and I'm such a big advocate of telling people, make sure you document everything. Document conversations, document transactions. Anything is binding, even just a piece of paper written, even on a serviette.
Yes.
Like I gave 500,000 to this person and they signed, that's enough to prove that you actually gave that person.
Yeah, but you see now, it being that the fact that the difference between the two, whereby the criminal matters that says is approved PO, there is no come out, and on this other hand we have the civil matters that is tolerance of evidence and equivalence of probability. Why do you have again to prove? See, you can just, why do you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt in a civil proceeding?
In civil proceeding, the onus is not the burden, or rather, it's not about reasonable doubt here. It's not about reasonable doubt. Even circumstantial evidence can show that indeed the money was given in that instance, that we met at this point, that this and this happened. So the court will look at the circumstances. So it's not necessarily that you have to show that I gave this person 500,000 cash. Yeah, so it's about the circumstantial evidence.
Yes, you met at Damien's. Okay, you met at this particular point. What was the reason for meeting?
Yes.
So
And
yes,
really
you have to
supporting,
prove
yeah.
that the reason for meeting was something different.
Yes.
And maybe that changed.
Civil case is just a balance of probabilities. Like, what is the probability that you can with this one? Yes.
Okay. So what has been your experience in her practicing Queen? And more especially, I want to ask specifically when you're examining Charles Nyachae. Hey, Martina.
For me,
You're telling me that, can you recognize
yeah.
Charles Nyachae?
Can you imagine? It's been a good experience. I can't complain. It sort of has like a rush. No, why would I panic?
This Charles for God's sake.
And you come to court. You've come to court to give evidence. So you come and give that evidence. And I will question you on
And remember, he's also a legal mind.
He is a legal mind. It
Yeah,
was
so
such
you
an
also
honor.
try to-
Yes. It
Trust
was.
you around.
I had to prepare the case very well, although it was a very complicated case. It was a succession matter.
Yeah.
I had to prepare myself very well because you see, this is someone who's more advanced in in legal experience than me.
Yes,
So I
that's
took
right.
that chance and ran off with it. It was amazing, because the minute, yes, because the minute you're on the dock and I'm asking you questions, actually you're giving the answers to the court, but I have the power to ask you whatever I want to.
Yeah. So tell me, Your Honor, I've said that I've asked
Your
the
Honor,
witness is not complying.
direct the witness to answer the question.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun for me. It's like performance.
Yeah. So you see,
I
in
get
case
to
you
do
know
this at work so that I don't do it at home. You see, so at home I'm just quiet and calm, but at work, so it's enjoyable for me. I won't like it.
Yeah, that could be. Is there any other very very high profile figure that you also cross-examine with you in your treatment?
Yes. We've done a lot of high-profile criminal cases because I've worked with Mr. Omari, Danstan Omari, almost 7 years now.
Yes.
So-
So Mari is known to this criminal matter.
Yes.
Yes, I also recognize him and another friend of mine called Lombetta.
Or better.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We were even just handling a matter this morning, the three of us.
Yes, I like the way those people reason through these matters.
Yes. And for me, criminal law is quite simple for me. We've done a lot of high-profile cases. I can't mention all of them, but the ones that are most outstanding, we were still dealing with the Wandara matter, the drug matter.
That's like Akasha.
Yeah, we deal with a lot
Akasha
of.
was.
Yeah, the Akasha, though I was a student at that time.
Oh, you are doing a privilege at the. We do the same farm.
Yes.
Okay, during the Akasha.
No, I found they had already been extradited. Yeah, but a lot of goods.
Kenya has an extradition treaty. So
Yes, you will be extradited. And Kenya is unfortunately, Kenya is very quick to extradite its own citizens. And yet, the other recipients, they don't extradite. They don't extradite for us people. So I don't know why. Anyway, that's a whole story for another day.
Yeah. So you found that case almost, and
I just used to follow it up as a student, but we've done a lot of high profile cases because my boss is a high profile advocate. He's known, so he's very
so I like the way he analyzes. In fact, in that hotel,
I know.
I like the way he analyzes some distance and also space the park. So now, I would want also you to just walk us through the right of their case to see these criminal cases. Something happens and for a for a while. Walk us through the right of their case.
Even as I answer that, I want the listeners or the viewers to really apply some emotional intelligence because you have to recognize the government of the day. And I'm not talking about the current government.
Oh.
The government of the day will dictate which kind of rights they want to uphold and which ones they will blatantly interfere with. And that is not what the law provides. Because the Constitution, which is our foundation,
The foundation document.
yes, it states that rights belong to individuals. They are yours. And no state organ or no government can lure you to thinking that they're the ones who give you the rights. But as you can see from, they are not the custodians. Only the court is the one that has the mandate to either determine if a right has been infringed or not. And it's protected by the law. So, for instance, we've had several governments in our country, correct? You can tell that during the reign of the late President Moi, there were many politicians and many people in the political class whose rights were blatantly infringed outright. People who were going to torture chambers and all that. During Kibaki's time, you could see many people were enjoying their rights. Also during Kenyatta's time, freedom of speech was there. No one was being kidnapped because of freedom of exercising their freedoms and rights and fundamental freedoms. And now you can see the government of the day. I won't talk much. I'm not trying to get...
No. It's not about the government. We just talk about the...
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, you have to read the room. You have to read the room because the government of the day then gives the police or the investigators, the ones who are enforcing the law, they give them either the okay or not to either infringe on your rights or otherwise. So let me go now into the rights of an accused person. An accused person, first and foremost, has the right to be informed the reason of their arrest. Yeah, why people arrested. You know, they have to be informed the reason for their arrest.
In a language that they understand.
In a language that they completely understand. Another right of an accused person is
But
that...
kama yeye anaelewa lumbu tu ganda mpaka bamba kara.
Si wanatafuta karamu mwenye anazombea.
Kama anaelewa shembe tayang ba.
Yeah, even in courts, like you'd find someone is from maybe Ocha, like interior, maybe they don't understand, only understand their dialect. They have to bring an interpreter. Yeah. So in a language they understand. You also must be presented before a court of law within 24 hours of your arrest.
You must be represented.
You must be
present
presented.
yourself.
Yeah. They take you to court within 24 hours. But you'll find sometimes the cops will arrest you on Thursday and take you to court on Monday. You see? That's over 24 hours, which is infringing on your rights. You must also be afforded the right to your representation of choice. The advocate of your choice. Whoever you want to represent you, that should not be limited. You also have a right to bail and bond, but that is subject to some condition. Like, the right to bail can be limited. For instance, if you're an accused person, you commit a crime and then you flee from the scene, and you're found at the borders of Kenya, you're trying to run away.
You're a flight risk.
You're a flight risk. Definitely not going to
From your conduct now.
Yes. Or you're likely to interfere with investigations.
How do you know?
It's the cops who will bring that information to the court. They will swear an affidavit to oppose bond and say that so and so is in a certain position and they're likely to interfere with evidence, or they're likely to interfere with witnesses. For example, if it's a crime, if it's a family crime between maybe a parent and a child, that's your child, you're likely to interfere.
Of course.
Or-
you will influence when
yeah.
you go home.
Yeah. Or if you're-
still
Exactly.
Takusana.
Or if you're an accused and you're a cop, you're a police officer. I mean, it's the police who is doing the investigation, so you will definitely interfere. You know? So there are those circumstances that sort of limit the right to bond. Also, if you don't have a fixed place of abode, because the primary goal of being granted bail is to ensure that you attend trial or you attend court. So you must justify to the court that you can find me in this building, in this house. If you don't find me there, you can find me at my sister's house. You know, that must be in an affidavit of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some of the rights. Which are those are some of the
That's the accused this year.
yeah. You also have the right to speedy justice, but you'll find courts in our country, a matter has been going on for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How this most especially these criminal matters.
Yes, criminal matters take a long time.
Yeah. As if for let's say for about criminal case happen, and you haven't filed the case for like 20 years. Can you still file that case?
Yeah, criminal cases don't have limitation of time. Even if you committed a crime in 1994, the law will catch up, and you can still face those charges. But civil law, various civil matters have different limitation. Yeah.
Like, maybe can tell us some of those categories.
For instance, for contracts, 6 years.
Or after 6 years, there's nothing you can do about
You
that.
can't hold court. unless you seek leave and explain to court why it is you're coming after the limitation. The court may grant it's at the discretion of the court.
So,
Yeah.
so now there is the professional ethics and conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Tell us the scope of it.
Professional ethics is how a professional is supposed to conduct himself or herself in the conduct of their business, right? So for instance, for advocates, we'd say, okay, advocates, even judges were advocates at first. You can't be a judge if you were never an advocate.
Yeah.
So sometimes you find maybe the judge sitting in your matter is a relative or is a loved one, or you have relations and stuff like that, or your friends, or is an ex, or is a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's the conviction.
But normally it's
You can't be acquitted. You
Yeah.
can't acquit you.
Yeah. So when you find that conflict of interest, it's very important for what the law demands is that you declare that conflict of interest early on, and you make an application and say, I would request that this judicial officer recuses themselves. That means you down your tools and hand it over to another judicial officer because of the conflict of interest. Or maybe if it's like in a criminal matter, you see like the court has already made up their mind. There's that presumption of innocence that has already been, like it's like the court has already made up its mind that you're guilty. And there's that presumption of innocence for an accused person. You can make an application and ask the court to recuse itself. But if you find that this court is just being
Or the court
unfair,
itself can also recuse itself from
the
a matter.
court itself can also recuse itself from a matter.
So how does that happen? Now that the court done that, as in,
They just give a ruling. They give a ruling either by way someone may apply for it, or the court can give directions and say, I'm conflicted in this particular matter. The accused person is my relative or is my family friend. I down my tools. I cannot hear this matter because matters are supposed to be heard with impartiality. And for sure, courts will only make decisions within the bounds of the law. They will not make a decision because they love you.
that is true.
Yeah.
Because of the business.
Yeah, it is by set out precedents and rules that govern that are in the law. So there is no ever single day you'll find a court made a judgment and says, I determined this based on love. It must be anchored to a legal provision.
Yeah. But that much can influence. So really, you love this guy and you have to now start perusing and finding articles that are favor.
You know better. So a contract is essentially an agreement. An agreement between two or more parties that say that there are some elements of a contract, the offer, and then the monetary value or the value, what we call the consideration.
Okay.
Yeah. And a contract does not have to be 50 pages.
Can be a single step.
It can be a single page. It can even be on a subject.
How do you preserve it?
Maybe you've preserved it in a way, but that it can be binding as long as it has all the elements that are required to prove a contract existed. And as long as it is not a contract based on an illegality, it is enforceable.
How is a contract? Okay, like the track.
Yes. You can't have a contract for drugs and then someone mtu anakuruka and then now you want to go and
Wanaambia wewe ulikuwa hiyo kokenda ulikuwa nipatie nusu wewe pesa yangu kwa
both of you will find yourself with the hands of the law. Yeah.
So surrogacy, where if at all you are to have your child, of course there is the Indian part of it, and there's called that contraception. How does the law look at it? Do we have a firm law that looks at it holistically?
Last I checked, I think there was a bill in Parliament for surrogacy.
Yes.
There is currently a bill in Parliament for surrogacy. I don't know if it was passed as law. I'm not so sure I can confirm. But prior to that, like there was nothing protecting you. If someone runs with a baby, too bad because there is no law that protects you about it. So the law is anticipated to give remedies like what happens if someone runs away with your child, what are your remedies, what are your options, what are the roles of this surrogate mother, what is the extent that is applicable, and such stuff. Yeah, that one I'd want to comment on it much deeper later, because I'm not so sure what stage it is in Parliament.
If a couple appears for you, and that's what they want, they are doing a third person. They want you to help 3 years. Do you still have scope, or you have to wait until that become
You have to wait until that day comes. Legally.
legal?
You have to wait until that day comes, because if these people are paying you to protect their interest that this child will come to them safely, and there is no law to support it, how are you going to go to court in case of injustice, and the law is not supportive of that?
My thinking will be, okay, I'm not, but this is what my thinking will be from the street here, or this part of the world. My thinking will be this, that I don't allow this client to go, therefore the money also leaves. I would want to take the case, look into the laws of tort, look into the contract law, just make something, some cocktail for them, and
This is
eventually
a
we have
life.
something.
This is a life you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. As in, yes.
I
you
mean,
see,
money is always good, but not all money will serve your interest. Advise them to go to a country where surrogacy law applies. Honestly, that would be my advice.
yeah, so you cannot cocktail it and say that yes, it's not we are not protecting against yourself, so that yeah?
Yeah.
But we are protecting this scenario.
But even if you
We are
cocktail,
protecting this scenario that there's an injury here, and this can be protected by the tort.
even if
I
you
mean, there's
cocktail
a
it,
contract here. and you can
Remember-
contract, yeah.
remember, a contract cannot be enforced on legality. It's not legal because there is no law that has established it. So even if you cocktail it, you will still appear before a seasoned judicial officer, and they will strike out your plea.
But being that there is no law that looks at it, that does not make it illegal.
Let's give it time. I'm pretty sure they want to enact that law. They want to enact that law. But it's been in Parliament for a lot of yes.
I think I'll just leave the conversation today there. I have a lot that are brewing. And I
You
know
can call me anytime.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll just get you back.
Okay.
We have now a past conversation alone a lot of other legal matters. So members of the public, my promise stands. I'm this man with this special character. I'm always sourcing for the best and getting you that information concerted to you with nothing but excellence. Allow me to see you in the next game.